Hey,
Hey there.
so do you not understand what I'm saying to you? So, this isn't the first time you guys contacted me.
Okay. All
You've
right.
contacted me previously.
Right.
I have contacted you about that contact previously because that contact was inappropriate. Do you understand that?
No,
What do you mean you don't understand that?
you didn't talk to me specifically, so I have no clue what you're referring
No,
to.
I get that. But again, this is a weird game that you're playing because you're acting as if we know each other and
No,
I
I
would have
introduced
any
myself.
No. Again, so that's so you introduced yourself. You're from an agency, right?
yeah, you're right.
You're representing that agency.
Yeah. I'm with
And
the
what
Detective Service.
exactly? And so what I am referring to is that agency. Thank
yeah.
you. That agency
My agency.
exactly
Okay.
has already been previously contacted
Okay. Gotcha.
about a prior incident,
Sure.
and that incident hasn't been resolved.
Okay.
That would have to get at least addressed and resolved before we could move forward. Do you understand that?
Kind of. Are you saying that there was another person who came out here and talked?
Yes, very
Yeah,
clearly I
okay.
said that. That's what I mean. Like, you are approaching me as if I'm an idiot. I'm approaching.
I'm
No,
not.
yes,
No,
you
no,
are.
no,
We're not
no,
going
not
to
at all.
argue about it. That's a fucking fact that I am stating.
No.
Period.
Not
And
at all.
whether it's just my feelings,
That's
then
true.
my feelings are fucking valid, and there's no reason
Absolutely.
for you to argue. And that's exactly my point.
That's true.
So
Agreed.
you're arguing for no reason, and you're approaching me as if I'm an idiot.
No.
Again,
Not an idiot.
well, then let's start acting like that's not what's happening.
Okay.
I said clearly things would have to be resolved before we can move forward. Do you understand that?
No. What type of things would need to be resolved?
Again, why are you having me repeat myself if you're
But what's
also
the-
claiming that you don't believe me to be an idiot,
What's the
or you don't
what's the
believe me to
like-
have memory problems?
I don't-
Is it that you believe me to have some sort of problem?
I believe that I don't know what's going on.
And how many times would you like me to explain it to you?
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. How would you like for me to help you today?
Well, like I said, so there's a previous incident that needs to
Which
get
is
resolved.
Which is closed. So that
It's
incident
not
here-
close. Well, so again,
So
just
are the case that the previous one has nothing to do with me. It's
it has
closed.
something to do with your agency, and so that
It's
needs to be
closed.
resolved.
So a new, let me just
So
slow down
again,
for a second.
so it should not be closed,
Okay,
and that's
I'm
what
not
we
trying
need
to
to
argue with
resolve.
you. Today, it's closed out. That's why I'm here.
It's
because
not
a new-
closed out, and it is
closed
relevant
out.
to
It's closed.
today. So in other words, you're acting as if what happened previously isn't relevant to now, when it's literally the cause of it.
Well, I have new allegations. That's why I'm here.
Again, so we're not playing this weird fucking game. I don't care about the new allegations because the new allegations are literally based on the previous incident.
Okay. Well, yes and no.
It doesn't just the fact alone that there is a yes means that yes needs to get resolved, and that's what hasn't been resolved.
Okay.
And before I
So
can
how do you-
speak to you
how do you
about
plan
any
to
new
resolve it?
allegations,
How do you plan to resolve it? Or how can you
I can't resolve that on my own. Again, so
How do we
you're
resolve
approaching
it?
me like an idiot. Your agency has an incident that they are
And it's done.
sending you out on
which is
now,
a new one.
which is in reference to a previous one that is unresolved.
No.
Again, I'm not playing a weird game with you. You already said
So
yes
again, how would
and
you
no.
like for me to help you?
I don't know. Get smart, dude. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. You already said yes and no. That yes has to get resolved. I can't teach you. I can't train you. I am not your fucking boss. As a matter of fact, you're here supposed to be to understand and help me. You can't help me. You're not qualified
Why can't I
if
help
you can't understand something as simple as go back to your fucking agency, figure out that yes, because as you said clearly, yes and no, that yes, figure out how and why that yes is being used.
Okay, that's done.
Now-
so, listen. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say to you right now
Uh-huh.
is, what would you have me do?
I already stated it. I don't like.
I'm going to go back. So let me answer your question,
Uh-huh.
Charlie.
Yes.
Charlie, I'm not here to just. All I'm here to do is just to check on you, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then you know what?
Let
Again,
me check on your good.
Let's,
You're good?
let's
Hey,
be
hey,
realistic of where you are. Look how close you are
Charlie.
to me
I know, but
without a
guess-
mask.
What do you mean? Oh, with you.
You have it.
No,
I
because
don't.
asked. Okay,
Again,
okay.
again, we already. This is what I'm saying. This is what you're forgetting. Where we're living. That I'm not a fucking idiot.
No, you're
That I
not.
have
You're
a
not.
heart condition. That I do need help. But again, we can't act as if we've never met each other as far as the agency is concerned, or there aren't other things that need to be resolved.
Charlie, that we can deal with the other stuff later. For right now, all I'm asking is if you
Again,
need, do you
you're
need some
not
help with medical?
understanding a simple fucking fact. We can't deal with it later. It was supposed to be dealt with previously. So what we're doing right now is being delusional by acting as if it is not relevant to this moment
Okay, it is.
to have dealt
You
with
and-
it previously.
So it's relevant. So how, being relevant for you, how can I help
Dude,
you?
I
be
don't know.
relevant?
Again, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I'm gonna make it as clear to you as possible.
that's a no then.
No.
What I'm hearing is
Listen
a
to
no.
what I am saying.
Okay.
Don't assume. What I am telling you is, I need social help. I
Okay.
need social services help
To do what?
for many things because I'm in an abusive situation. Currently, again, take it step by step. You're asking me, I'm responding. Please do not cut me off. Then make it seem as if you have no understanding of what's going on.
I apologize.
Okay?
You're right. Yeah. Okay.
I am in an abusive situation in which I have had my mother lie to people for over who knows how long over my mental state.
Okay.
Including the fact that ended up putting me in jail. That is where I was informed and received the evidence after years of asking people things as clearly, even your agency, hey, my mother's calling you. She seems to be stating things. I don't know what they are. Can you at least tell me what it is that she is saying? It took me, after being contacted by your agency and the social worker, Jill Scott, showing up at my house when I was at work, when supposedly my mother was telling them that I was on drugs and in the streets.
Yeah.
When I called her back and said, I have no idea what my mother is saying or why she's making those accusations, instead of telling me what those accusations were, simply did what you're trying to do right now and say that I was trying to be uncooperative. When the fact of the matter,
I'm not at all. I'm not
you
trying to-
said that. You
I didn't
said
say you were being
you
uncooperative.
have tried to imply that I'm refusing
No,
services when I have
Not
stated
at all.
clearly
At all.
that I am not refusing services. There
Okay.
are just things that need to be addressed
Got you.
before services could be rendered. That has happened. Again, why are you treating me as if I am unable to perceive what's happened? It's okay to make a mistake. What is not okay is to continue to act as if that mistake is irrelevant to what is currently happening now. There are times you can make mistakes, happens all the time, where it's not relevant to the future. But there are times where you make a mistake and it is relevant to the future. And right now, that is what has happened. In your agency, previously, they have mistaken me as being uncooperative and unneeding of assistance simply because I have questioned the way they have received the allegations and what those allegations were. And that is exactly where we're at right now. Simply put, those allegations and the way the agency handled things previously needs to be clarified and clear in order to properly provide any services going forward.
Okay.
And that's it. The allegations you're getting now are for the same person. So it is relevant. So it's obviously whatever happened previously wasn't correct. We still need help. There are things still going on. So it needs to be clear. It's not just, it's closed. It's closed for these reasons. And if those reasons are incorrect, then that needs to be addressed, right? Does that make sense? So that's just where we're at. We need to have a better understanding as to what happened previously so that we can proceed forward, because I do very much need help. The way I can calculate things, I'll probably be homeless soon. I have a heart condition. I haven't received any help in getting disability payments. My mother is telling people that she is helping me, and she is not. I have no form of income. I have very limited options on how to get income as it is. So very realistically, you're standing here. I need your help. Within weeks, I could be homeless. But I can't have that help if you're delusional as to what's happened and what is occurring now.
Okay.
And that can't be done by simply stating, what happened in the past is closed, And we just need to go forward because what has happened in the past is very much relevant and very much affects what's going on now. If for only one common denominator, which is the person who has been making the allegations, is common in both places, and that is not clear what that person really knows or understands, or even how credible or trustworthy that person is.
Okay.
You understand that?
I do.
Okay.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So you know what? I will, moving forward, and then knowing what you just said, so tell me about the eviction. Are you being evicted or anything?
No. Dude,
Okay.
I don't know how to put this. Again, I understand apparently that when you think of abuse, we all think of physical abuse. However, I am in a situation that hits all the check marks of psychological and financial abuse.
By your mom.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, that has to be discussed much more fully. Right now, it could be as simple as I can grab the letter that she wrote to SF General after she bailed me out, and I found out that she had been lying about my mental state, in which she states very clearly something that's very logical, really, as well, which is there is no reason anyone should have ever listened to her about my mental state. Plain and simple. She lives in Florida. We have never really been that close. I wasn't really raised by my mother. There is a complicated, really, issue, but it's not really in any other sense of, even for myself right now, I have huge concerns about my mother's mental health. I have the whole reason I was arrested was trying to get help for my mother in Florida. But I can concede, I can understand that there's only so much info I have. I'm here in San Francisco. There's no way I can really do an evaluation of her mental state. As a matter of fact, I have no idea what's going on. I would rather this conversation realistically be happening in Florida, because as far as my mother has said to me, she has flip-flopped as to whether or not she even has enough money for herself for the month. She has all the signs of being completely unstable. But no one has listened to any of her conversations or anything that's actually going on or her communications with me. And so that's where I'm at with it. I very much understand people tend to want to listen to someone's mother. And I am in a situation and when I need
Charlie,
help.
you're my client, though.
No, but again, listen, I am in a situation, exactly, this is the point. I shouldn't be your client. That's plain and simple. Realistically, for all reasons and purposes.
If we were in Florida, I would probably go out and check her out too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I'm not in Florida, so
exactly.
I'm here. Yeah.
And that's what has resulted in this constant battle that I've been dealing with now for about 6 or 7 years of my life, in which even if I try to distance myself from her or I try to partner with her, or I trust her, or I believe what she's saying, no matter how I deal with it, at all points in time, including this situation, if I call Florida and say, hey, I have evidence, I have a letter written by her, she just signed it, even just discuss that with her, and that would, even just having a discussion about that would reveal that there are some conflicts in her thinking, and there's reasons to be concerned. But that doesn't happen. What does happen is now, second time in years, even after I have called the agency many, many times, spoken to many people and said, can we resolve this, for no other reason that I foresaw that there was going to be a day that I actually did need your services. So in other words, what happened to me is, years ago, there was no reason for your services. And as a matter of fact, the fact that you were contacted was evidence that I needed in order to be able to get help for my mother in Florida and be able to say, look, she's calling people in San Francisco. It makes no fucking sense. These things aren't even true. Can we at least resolve why she would be doing these things? But what your agency did at the time, and is still continuing to do at this moment right now, is act as if what happened previously made sense to everybody, had been properly investigated, and everything was determined to be okay. Which means that now, for the second time, you have gone on an allegation from someone who is not credible, who there's evidence is participating in abusive behavior, whether intentionally or not. Because maybe it could be mental health, maybe my mother actually fucking hates me and wants to make my life completely miserable and put me in the streets. Maybe that's true. But then that contradicts, why would she have been paying my rent? Why did she say she wanted to change things around? That she wanted me to, get my life together. And now is actually making it more difficult. The fact of the matter is, just to kind of summarize, I applied for GA, for general assistance,
Okay.
hoping that I could finally get a social worker. Because even when I was incarcerated, and even when it was clear that I was incarcerated because my mother had lied to the police, even then I didn't have a social worker. So I was even incarcerated asking for a social worker and didn't get a social worker. Why? Because my mother wanted to bail me out. So how does that look? I'm saying my mother's abusing me. She is the one who put me in jail, but she also bailed me out.
Right.
So I understand the tough position it is, but it doesn't. Sorry, that is a tangent.
okay.
Point being is, I contacted social services because I need to see if I can get some kind of income or some kind of help and get disability payments, or just trying to avoid homeless.
Did they deny you?
No,
Jay?
again, what I was trying to say is the reason why it is odd that you are contacting me and they are not is that I contacted them.
The GA.
Yes, exactly, and
They
asked for a
didn't-
social
they
worker.
didn't send anyone?
No, and so that's exactly
Did you
what's.
go down to the office?
No, because I said they'll contact me within 45 days. That seemed reasonable.
You mean, like over the phone to contact you to touch base?
I guess to process everything.
Yeah,
It
okay.
says you have to have a face-to-face interview or whatever.
Right,
something
right.
similar to this, as far as I understand it.
So was somebody going to come out, or did you need to go to the office?
The point fucking being, dude, that's what I'm saying. The point, you're acting like I'm a fucking idiot. The
No,
point,
no,
okay,
I'm saying
so
I
then
can
let's
help
just
you
get
get
this,
there.
let's move forward. See, that's the point. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
But in order to help me get there, and again, one of the reasons why I was not concerned about trying to rush the situation is because I wanted to ensure that whatever had happened previously, there was clarity on, and we could move forward with an actual understanding of what really occurred and what should be occurring and what is occurring now. Again, it is very simple. For some reason, even though I called for help, I still haven't gotten that call responded. But my mother, who there's evidence of is abusing me, called to basically impart more abuse on me via you, and you are here. So that is a problem, because it's another example of I somehow or another can't help myself. And yet people who are working against me, intentionally or not, who are harming me, are getting their requests done. You know how odd that is? I called for social services help. I applied for it. That was over a week ago. Again, I understand.
Wait, a year or a week?
A week.
A week ago.
I understand there's a delay, everything else. Again, I was accepting of that delay because I wanted that delay up to a certain point to make sure that there was clarity on things. But look how quick you were here. If you read the text messages that my mother sent me yesterday, they're all abusive. They're all that I can't do anything. All right? Right now, I was trying to figure out basically trying to figure out the day, like how maybe I can get some money, maybe job opportunities. I need to still call the hospital because I just had EKG tests. I just spoke to the doctor, and I'm still processing the things that entails as far as new medications and
your heart
things.
problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I'm dealing with all that myself. My mother is basically everything that I can understand that's happening is she's abandoning me again. I can very likely end up in the streets. I mean, the stat that I just saw this morning was 200 people. 200 people died in the streets here in San Francisco, homeless. They just had that fucking ceremony. And what's sad about that is I would like to believe that because of the fact it is what it is. I'm a college fucking graduate. I can definitely fucking work if I need to. I have limited options right now. It's by no means, I don't have any fucking mental health issues. I am not into any fucking drugs. I can easily fucking take care of myself. But there have been many factors that have made that, difficult to damn fucking near impossible. And so, what I mean by that is, here I am doing my best to try to prevent dying in the fucking streets. You supposedly should be helping do that. And what you're really adding to is a stress and a likelihood that could happen to me. Because you're approaching the situation delusional. That's why when I approached it as far as I need general assistance help and I need to get social workers, I no longer was calling and being irate and everything else, taking it step by step. Step by step. This is not step by step. From my understanding, my mother called you yesterday, and you're here today. and yet you didn't take any time to understand what you were getting into or what really occurred. It's not fair.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So I don't, obviously, like I said, I very much need assistance. I can't do it on my own because a lot of the questions as to what occurred or what are preventing being able to have a great understanding of what can be done. So that's just, I mean, I really need to figure out what happened with Joe Scott. That's never made any fucking sense. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. So that is important to find out. I don't know if you want me to send you an email and recap things. I don't know if you want me to call you and leave you a voicemail.
You can call me.
But that's the first step.
Okay.
That's literally the first step.
Let's take it there then. We'll take it from there. Is that okay?
Yeah. So can I expect to hear from you either via email or a phone call or
Call me and tell me when you're ready. Okay.
ready for what?
Ready when you want to go down to the GA and get some assistance there.
Again, the first step is to find out what happened previously.
Okay. I can find out.
Okay.
All right.
So how would you like to proceed for
Why don't
me
you-
to be informed of what happened previously?
Okay.
Should I call you?
Yes. Why don't you call me next week? Okay. Because it's Friday today.
Okay.
I won't get back to the office until next week.
Okay.
I'll read on what was going on from the previous report, and I'll fill you in.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'll basically
Tuesday.
then
Let's
Tuesday.
do Tuesday because yeah, just call me Tuesday.
I'll call you Tuesday. I will. Is there email in here?
No, let me
No.
write it down for you.
Okay. Because the easiest thing would just be to email me.
Okay.
Unless, and again, and these are other questions that haven't been revealed because I've been asking. Unless,
I'd like to talk to you in real time, though.
no, I understand, but there's certain, again, there is a very serious situation going on in which I'm being charged with a felony. And so I do need
What do you mean you're being charged with a felony?
the,
Can you describe it just a little?
the simplest way I could
When
put
you
it
got
to you.
arrested?
Again, the simplest way I could put it to you
Okay.
is just like today, you are showing up here for social services saying, hey, your mother has made allegations, right? Now imagine, because this is what was happening for a very long time, you're not telling me what the allegations are. You're just telling me that my mother called you and is telling you that I need social services. Now I know the real situation, which is a lot of what's going on, my mother's either caused it or can relieve it by inaction. In other words, by not doing anything. So and that's that should be easier. Just don't do anything. If you think, so the point being is, if I call my mother right now, I can guarantee you, I can do it with you on the phone if you would like. She, here, she will have, it will be all over the place as far as her reasons or understanding why she called you or why I would need assistance or what's going on. So I would be concerned because my mother is a very respected professional who has no real reason or any history of not being able to understand simple things. Especially, or I shouldn't say simple things, very complicated things, but complicated things that she herself will put herself into. Like simply put, this apartment, when I got the apartment, it was a private owner. And I was in college and I never had another apartment. So, and I wasn't even here when it was open. So in order to rent to me the apartment, the landlord, the way he did the lease was my mother would always be financially responsible for the rent payments, and I'm just a resident. So in other words, legally, as far as it's a very simple lease, legally, she has to make payments. If she doesn't make payments, what can happen is the landlord can then put the eviction on her. The landlord can kind of do a double eviction, be the way our lease is. In other words, the landlord could evict me and still go after her for payment. And why that is a very big deal is my mother works for financial services. And any kind of eviction, any kind of negative point on her credit report can get her fired. As a matter of fact, she had her identity stolen previously, and it was a huge deal because of that. She had to go through a whole bunch of steps to kind of correct everything because it can affect her employment. Just one, her credibility is very important, which is why this behavior is extremely odd, because it doesn't take much for anybody to understand that her credibility in a situation like this is just not there. Like, I don't even understand how the mental work goes. It seems as if you were already informed that I have heart failure. You have my mother calling you, apparently from Florida. No matter what the allegation is, you would have to determine that Adult Protective Services would be, somewhat appropriate, at least to check out. I don't know how that could make sense. Again, like that would be helpful. Like, how did that make sense? Like, no matter what the allegation was, why would you determine that? What was the allegation? Again, it's the same thing.
So the allegation is self-neglect, meaning that there were some concerns on the report that you were not, that there was no eviction, but hearing you say that, it's something different, but also that you were there were some concerns about you if you did get homeless, your mental health status.
Again, so this is a joke about the mental health status thing. Again, and that's what I'm saying. It's like you're not looking into things or thinking about things clearly. The whole reason this whole mental health thing gets getting pulled up is because it's as ridiculous as it is for me to make accusations about my mother's mental health, although there's a huge amount of evidence, as my mother would be to me. And how that is important and relevant is, here in San Francisco, there's a judge who has already decided many times over that mental health isn't a concern for anyone. Anyone. Literally, the reason why my life is the way it is right now is because there's a judge, Monica F. Wiley, here in San Francisco, who decided over and over again that even a diagnosis of mental health disorders was not relevant or needed to be discussed as far as anyone's safety, including the safety of a child. That's what happened. That's the reason, or at least the most logical reason, that my mother keeps making these fucking stupid accusations about mental health. Because if you fucking actually knew anything, you would know I went through a custody evaluation with a full psychiatric evaluation, more than most people. And at that point in time, there were no concerns about my mental health. Sure. There were concerns about the mother of my child's mental health, but those weren't taken seriously by the city and county of San Francisco. So my mother is just fucking doing a fuck you constantly over and over and over again. And I'm the one suffering because of it. The only thing that gets me through it is that I laugh. Because at the end of the day, as smart as everybody thinks they are, and we love everybody, and we take mental health seriously in San Francisco, it's a fucking joke. It's a joke that you're here right now. You had somebody from fucking Florida call you. That could be a fucking prank phone call. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And you're wasting resources, but more importantly, defaming and fucking abusing a resident. Like, it doesn't, like, that's why. Like, it's not difficult to understand if you fucking humble yourself that you can be an idiot. You get what I'm saying? It's that simple. That's why my mother is playing this game. You can be an idiot. You approached it as, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Really? How can you take mental health seriously if you haven't fucking checked with anybody as to the probable credibility of these things? And they're all based on somebody in Florida.
That's what allegations are.
Of somebody in a fucking totally different state that has no real ability to know.
I don't know about that. All I know is, Adult Protective Services takes all allegations, all of them.
I wish they did, because again...
They do. And then, let me finish. They take all allegations, and we have to investigate.
No, they don't, because again, I just stated to you, my mother technically is truly a resident of San Francisco, and I called them. But I have called, again, this is all...
From Florida?
Huh?
From Florida?
Again, she's on a lease here. She's a resident of San Francisco. She has financial responsibilities in San Francisco, legally. She's a resident of San Francisco. She can use this address just like anybody fucking else. Or not anybody else, me. Us two on the lease. So,
but she's not physically here.
But But wait a second. Again, why are we playing this stupid game? She's calling you and she has power over you and you have an association and relationship with her and she is a resident. So the least you could do if I called, which is what did happen, and said, hey, I'm actually really concerned about my mother because my mother is saying that she can't take care of me financially and everything, but technically these are her responsibilities. But more importantly, she's telling me things that conflict as to whether or not she's able to take care of herself financially. And so can you at least look into that? Not even a phone call, but you're here. I mean, let's do the hourly fucking salary on it. You know what I mean? Like, because I have paid my money into San Francisco taxes for years, now over 2 decades. The fact of the matter is, it would have been more effective budget-wise for you to have just taken fucking 10, 15 minutes out to have called my mother and, followed up on her allegations and been like, wait a second, you're making these allegations, you're making us spend time, and Charlie's saying this isn't fucking accurate. Let's figure out at least what's really going on. You didn't do that for years. So that was a whole bunch of fucking time and money spent on top of now you're out here as well, and we still haven't got anything resolved. Hopefully we will on Tuesday. Okay. At least start, right?
Okay, yeah.
So,
absolutely. I get it.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm listening to you, man. That's what I'm here for, okay?
No, I get you, but the thing is, that's what I'm saying to you. I don't have mental health issues like that. I don't need therapy. I need actual help.
But that's just it. It's just allegations. They're not true until proven guilty.
No, that's not true. Again, this is what I'm dealing with. Again,
we'll more on Tuesday. Let's slow down.
Cool.
Okay, we'll talk more on Tuesday, and let me do a little bit more, investigation on this part. Okay.
Cool.
So, but I appreciate you.
You should maybe talk to Robbie, dude, because Robbie, like, as far as the apartment people, remember you showed me the letter that the apartment people weren't responding to you?
Oh, so Yoko keeps all she does a lot of she keeps every record you can.
I know, right? I'm just saying, you showed me when I said to you, hey, the apartment people are acting weird and shady with me and they're not responding to certain things. You showed me a letter where you told them of something that needed to be addressed, and they didn't respond to you. That happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, that turned out to be. I needed a new refrigerator and they didn't give me one, so I just bought my own.
Yeah. Either way, it's just they didn't respond to you. The point of that being is the apartment people have been, because of the way my mother is on the lease, they have been playing games and basically kind of forcing my mother into situations in which she shouldn't be in. Mm-hmm. Because she's a leaseholder. In other words, the simplest is kind of like what Robbie do. I didn't have hot water. I didn't have hot water for over a fucking year because my boiler was broke, and I was writing them to get it repaired. Mm-hmm. But because they know that they can get money from my mother, they wouldn't listen to me. Because I could also, obviously I could withhold the rent. There's a lot of services here in San Francisco, but nobody would help me in San Francisco because, again, nobody wanted to address the fact that my mother's just paying these people blindly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
gotcha.
And obviously it's not uncommon. It happened to him as well. But, hot water is very different than, I want a new refrigerator. Right. But I didn't even fucking have hot water. And when you talk about my mother's mental state, we're talking about constantly, many times over, I tried to communicate with my mother, like, dude, just can you please at least tell the apartment people to fix the heater? Mm-hmm. And she literally, my mother would play a game and say, I have nothing to the apartment. Mm-hmm. They don't have to listen to me.
It sounds like there's a lot going on. Yeah,
because I also, just to make sure that I get that out, also, she has consistently always held it over my head. And I mean, even when I've totally been on my own and paid the apartment on my own, she's always held it over my head that she's basically my landlord.
Yeah, there's a lot of family dynamics going on.
Yeah, it's always been a power move for her. I never really understood the what was happening because I was in college. I didn't really understood until later because she's, like I said, she's always held it over me. Mm-hmm. That connection, that having us be on the same apartment would always have us,
connected.
Yeah. But and like I said, just in a very serious, mature sense, what I'm saying is my mother has always had an understanding of that. Yes, she has, there's been many times she's feigned an understanding of that. The concern of that is not selfish in the sense of, I could be homeless or whatever. It's more of, wait a second, is my mother really playing this weird game? Because again, these are very serious situations that we're in. As far as I can tell, just to make it very clear, as far as I can tell, because of the fact that very truly, San Francisco officially through the courts has put my daughter and myself in danger by ignoring actual diagnoses of mental disorders by trained professionals, I believe, and it seems to be a logical reason, unless my mother has other mental health issues, that would be the reason she continues to make false claims about my mental health, because it is a slap in the face that you would take allegations from her, some random person in Florida, basically, about someone's mental state here in San Francisco, and ignore actual physicians here in San Francisco that have made determinations about someone's mental health.
Understood.
So
I get it.
it's fucked
but
up.
Thank you for explaining.
And stupid and weird.
I appreciate it, though. No, it makes thank you. No, it makes a lot of sense. So I appreciate you telling me and taking the time to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is your right
Yeah.
template. So before I can do that, to do the investigation, can I have you sign a release so that I can go
Let
move
me read
forward?
it. Because I mean, realistically,
You'll
you
get-
don't
you'll
need
get-
you don't
you'll
need
get
a
a
release for
copy.
this.
Well, I can get your verbal consent if that's what's. If you
I'll
don't
give
wanna
you
sign it.
verbal for right now because
Okay.
it's all verbal, and I'll just tell you legally. This is just my only concern because I want to resolve things. And the problem is I've never signed anything, and if I sign that, well, it can be legally implied that I am signing acknowledgement or an understanding or agreement with even prior situations or paperwork.
Okay.
And
No
that's
worries.
what I want to avoid. I want to actually be able to see what happened previously so that if I sign anything or move forward, I'm actually moving forward with the same information that you have, and we can have some sort of like actual reality going on versus like gaslighting.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So let's check in next Tuesday.
Okay, cool.
You can. I'll call you.
Cool.
But call me back.
Yeah,
But,
and
because
I-
your voicemail is full, and I can't leave voicemail.
No, I know. I don't know what to do. I keep deleting voicemails, and it's still full, and I don't get many calls at all. So I'm not.
Okay.
I have tried to resolve the issue. One of the
I'm
reasons.
glad you picked up.
Yeah, one of the reasons I just haven't been. I mean, again, I have tried to do it, but I'm not overly concerned because, and again, not even again, but I do appreciate you not freaking about me recording you. I would rather not even have to record these situations. It just has been years of situations in which I am getting approached about allegations, but then those allegations are being withheld from me.
You're not in trouble, though.
No, it's not about being in trouble. Again, this is about
All right.
a very serious situation. I am
About
facing a
being-
felony charge in Florida currently. That's just one thing. Even if that gets resolved, and somewhat ironically, if it does get resolved, at that point in time, it is much easier, and or it seems just even by my mother doing this as if she's planning on abandoning me. Which means that at that point in time, I will have found myself in a situation in which for now years, but definitely for exactly about a year, I have said to myself, I'm either going to die or find out what's happening because I don't have any income. I am dying. My daughter believes I abandoned her. I have no idea whether my mom is acting crazy or really is crazy because she really does have certain symptoms that really are beyond just this situation. I have a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on.
Sure.
And I'm just trying to let my daughter know I didn't abandon her, and I would have not want her to, and at least figure out what's going on with my mother and the rest of my family before I die.
Where's your daughter?
She's with her mother. Again, it's very simple. It goes back to the courts in San Francisco have consistently said, hey, we don't care about mental health, and I was taking it seriously. So in taking it seriously, I went crazy for a while.
Okay. Well, thanks for being honest. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. And things happen. Okay.
Things like that shouldn't happen. Again, I don't understand.
But that's done.
The problem. Well, it's not done because the problem is, mental health things. Especially if you have someone in your house who has a mental health condition, you're not prepared for that. You don't know what that's like. You're not approaching it the way mental health professionals have for years. You know what I mean? And so you don't have the perspective of don't take it seriously. You can't not take it seriously.
Sure.
When you work with something and you see that there are examples of people that don't take it seriously, and you can see even like my mom is basically works in fraud. Like you can when you have that perspective on it, you can get, I believe, and I think is what's happened way too often. You get to the point where you think that everybody's fucking trying to scam, because I will tell you, like it's I can understand, like it's nobody takes it seriously. So if you do have a mental health problem, whatever, and if you don't, whatever, and you've already been labeled with it anyway, so it's like all you like, so it makes it very difficult to really understand who's who and what's real and what's going on. But I didn't have, and I still do not have the option of not taking it seriously. Again, my mother's either truly has true mental health issues that really do need to be addressed, or she has just been trying to prove a point, which either way indicates a mental health problem that should be addressed. So, I don't have the option of not taking it seriously.
Understood.
So I don't know.
So
I will be in contact.
We'll talk to each other on Tuesday?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because like I said, I do need to figure out like what's going on. Like I don't, I would like to avoid being homeless. It seems
let's
the
work
city would
together
like
to
that
prevent
too.
that. Let's work together to prevent that, okay?
Well, yeah, I mean, like it just, So thank you. Okay,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome, Charlie. Thank you
All
for
right.
seeing me today, okay?
Cool,
I
dude.
appreciate you
Thanks,
answering
dude.
the door.
Like I said, I apologize for the approach, but it's necessary.
Accepted. Don't worry about it. That's all water under the bridge now.
Cool.
Okay?
All right, man.
But Tuesday.
Yeah.
Can you make sure that we get together?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have no.
Okay.
You don't. I want to make it clear to you if that's not clear. I
No,
need
your voicemail.
help.
Your voicemail.
Oh, the voicemail I'll try to clear up by then. But
so that
in
I
other
can
words,
make
but
a
it just
voicemail.
just overall,
yeah.
I've been wanting help. I've been needing help. The problem has been simply that people who are going to abuse people who know that need help. One of the easiest ways to kind of both abuse them and prevent them from getting help is you call the help. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
it's
get
like
it.
it's one of those things. It's you say what's going on.
Sure.
Because then that person needs help. So they're happy to see you. But they're happy to see you for a totally different reason.
Sure.
And so now there's already conflict in a crisis situation. Nobody's ever going to be thinking.
Right.
And that's why I've been trying my best to try to take things calmly. But it can be difficult because I have very serious consequences to this. So
Right. You have a history. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, my friend. Okay.
Yep.
Be safe this weekend, and I'll talk to you then.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, dude.
You have my email too.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
Have a good day.